Welcome back to Profitable Blogging for Beginners. This is week 3 of our 4-week class, and tonight we're going to be talking about making money with your blog. We've already talked about setting goals for your blog and what to have in place for your blog before you really start promoting it, and then some ideas for actually getting the word out about your blog. And so tonight, now that we have all those things in place, let's start looking at how we're going to do our monetizing of our blog and how we're going to start making that income. Before we spend the rest of our time tonight talking about monetizing your blog and how to go about doing that and some good options for your blog, I did want to do a quick recap of what we've talked about so far in the classes, just because these things that we've been talking about are really building the foundation for how well you're going to be able to monetize your blog. And it's important you know that you still have that target reader in mind, that person that you want to be reading your blog, that's going to be coming to your blog looking for the information that you have to share. Keeping that person in mind will help you make choices, wise choices, good choices for your blog about how you're going to monetize. The other thing that we talked about last week is having the essentials ready to go on your blog. I mean, everything's set up. You have all the pages that you need to have in place, and your sidebars set up, and your menus, and all those things. So you have a blog you are proud to share and get in front of people. You also should have some clear goals in mind. We talked in the first class about some specific things. Even for the next 6 months, just think of a specific number that you would like to bring in from your blog, and then shoot for that goal. Push hard towards that goal, and you'll be amazed at what you can do. The last thing that we talked about having too is having some good, solid content already published on your blog. You're starting to reach out now and get traffic to your blog and everything, and so it's important that you have that good, solid content to be able to share to your readers when they do come, and they'll see what you have to offer, and they'll want to subscribe and stick around and hear what you have to say and the recommendations that you have to make. Another thing I wanted to do really quick here too before we start talking about monetizing is to go over just a basic good blog layout. I get a lot of questions about what should I put where on my blog, and so this is actually a blog that we've designed recently at Blogalina, mysweetmission.net, and I just want to point out a few things that she has going on for her right here that will really help you with making a good impression with your blog. And the first thing I want to mention is really having a good, nice, pretty logo that you really like. This My Sweet Mission flows really well with the rest of the site, and so coming up with an image or the wording that you want there, that's going to be the first thing that your readers see when they come to your blog, so it's important to spend some time thinking about what you want them to see when they come here. Another thing that she has here is front and center, she has her social media icons, so that if people want to follow her or like her page or share her content with their friends through social media, it's really easy for them to do that. It's front and center right at the top of the page there. The other thing is, her menu bar here is really nicely organized. It's clean, it's neat, there's not a lot of links, it's all in one line, and the most important things that she wants her readers seeing when they come to her blog are right there. Really easy to see. It's not super cluttered. The things that are important for her readers to see are there front and center. The search bar, I really like the search bar being close to the top. If it's not in your header, it should be very close to the top of your sidebar so it's easier for people to find. We talked last week about how important that is to have in place on your blog for your readers. She also has a little blip here too that says hello, who I am, introduces herself with her image. People really love being able to see the blogger behind the blog, so if you feel comfortable sharing your image online, that's a good place to put that, just because right away they know who they're reading and who they're talking about here. The last thing in her sidebar here that I like having above the fold and in an easy to see place for people is her Find Us on Facebook box. And what I like about this is right away they can see that she already has 1,600 followers or people who are liking her page on Facebook, so they already know she's got something to say, because that's quite a bit of people to be following her blog. And then finally, she's got some good images here to show on her posts. And again, it's really front and center. It makes a really good, solid first impression when you come to her blog. I just wanted to bring up here again and remind you about your class manual. If you haven't had a chance to check that out, a lot of the things that we've been talking about in class the manual will expound on even more. So more ideas for generating traffic, more ideas for making money, and some links to actually take you to the sites that'll help you do that. I know last week we talked about some great things to have in place on your blog, and then some ideas for promoting your blog. So if you want even more information on how to go about doing those things, check out your manual. That's a great resource, and you don't want to miss out on that. In addition to the ideas we've already talked about for promoting your blog, and also the ideas that you'll find in your manual, I did want to mention a couple that aren't in the manual. And one of those is to attend online events like Twitter parties. There's a lot of them going on if you do a Google search for a Twitter party that deals with your topic. And then some of them happen weekly, they meet every week, or some of them are monthly, and some of them are just big events that they do every once in a while. But joining in on those events can really help you build your network, just because you meet new people that way, and then they meet you and they see your blog. And if you're really providing valuable information and adding value to the discussion that's going on, then people will notice that, and they'll notice your blog and notice that you have really good content that's helpful, and they'll want to follow you from that. Another idea for promoting your blog and building your network with other bloggers, because honestly, a big part of growing your blog is going to be building relationships with other bloggers. A lot of these blogs that are just huge and have a great following right now are there because they've worked with other bloggers and helped other bloggers promote their own blogs, and through that everybody's grown their following because they're introducing each other to each other's readers. And so one way to promote your blog and build your network is to do just that. So in a post, even if you know of a great blog that your readers would benefit from that complements your topic, then introduce that blog. Write a post about that blog and that blogger, and link to that blog in your post, and through that they'll notice you and they'll appreciate the fact that you're giving them that shout out. Another idea, another way to do that would be to actually interview that other blogger. So send them a list of questions and ask if they wouldn't mind answering 2 or 3 of the questions off the list. Something that's really easy for them to answer. It's not going to take up a lot of their time. And then through that you introduce them to your readers, and they notice. They're excited that you're trying to promote them and their blog. One final idea, and this ties into the blogging buddies the blogging buddy groups that we've talked about, and having that support network for your blog, is to co-host a giveaway. So everybody pitches in, and you all promote the giveaway on all your blogs, and all of your readers can enter the giveaway. And through that, everybody gets their blog in front of each other's readers. Another idea, if you don't want to do a giveaway, is to host perhaps a weekly or a monthly linky party about a certain topic. So maybe you are recipe bloggers, and so you want to have a weekly link up of different types of recipes, desserts or gluten-free or different things like that, and then you all promote that linky and mention each other in each other's posts, and so all of your readers get to be exposed to each of your blogs. So those are just a few more ideas that aren't quite as well known or popular, and maybe not necessarily something that everybody's doing, but some good ideas for building your network and getting your blog in front of more readers. As we start talking tonight about actually how we're going to go about monetizing our blogs, there's a few questions that I think are important to ask as you start thinking about how you're going to actually monetize your own blog. And then also, since you've been with me this long in this class, you know that I think that planning ahead and having some goals and some ideas in place before actually acting on them is very important to the success of your blog. And that holds true on the money-making side of things too. So let's go ahead and move forward, and we'll think through some of these questions and just try to make some decisions that will be a good fit for your blog. One thing that I like to do whenever I'm trying to think about what I want to do with my own blog is take a look at some other blogs. And we all have favorite blogs that we follow and we like to keep up with, and we like them for different reasons. So as you're thinking about advertising and how you want to add monetization and add advertising to your own blog, try to think of some blogs that you like, that when you go and you visit, you might be able to tell that they're monetizing their blogs, but it's not so overwhelming that it turns you off. And just take some time just to look at those blogs and kind of get a feel for what they're doing, and think about how you might be able to apply it to your own blog. So as you're looking at these blogs, ask yourselves the questions. Do you have any idea of how many ads you'll display on your blog? And we'll talk a little bit more about how to make that decision here in just a few minutes. Also, what are your thoughts, your personal thoughts and impressions on tasteful ways to display ads on your blog? And then finally, we're going to talk about this right now, is when is a good time to actually start monetizing your blog? And I get asked this question a lot. You know, is it good to monetize my blog from the beginning, or should I wait a while and get some followers and establish my blog before I actually start adding ads and advertisements and affiliate links to my blog? And there's two sides to both of those, the answers to that question, if you should start now or if you should wait. And so let's take a look at some of the pros and cons of doing both of those things. If you want to monetize from the start, there's going to be a few pros to this that are just going to be pretty obvious from the beginning. First of all, your readers, since you don't have very many readers to start with, are going to know what to expect from your blog. They're going to see that you do actually advertise, and so it won't be something that they get blindsided by down the road. They're going to know from the beginning that you do advertise on your blog. So they'll know what to expect, so you don't have to worry about necessarily losing readers down the road if you do start advertising. That being said, we'll talk about this in a little bit, but you don't have to lose readers when you start advertising, as long as we do it in a tasteful way. Another pro to monetizing from the start is you do have the potential, if you have readers and visitors coming to your site, you have the potential to be earning money right from the start. So obviously if you wait to monetize, then you might be missing out on that income that could be coming in from the beginning of your blog. Some of the cons of monetizing from the start would be, first of all, and I have been through this as a blogger myself. When I first started blogging, and it was something that was really important for us to be making an income from, I was always checking, ooh, did I make a sale? I'd log into my affiliate networks and see if I had made any kind of sales or any money that day. So if you monetize from the start before you're really familiar with blogging and the ins and outs of blogging and how you're going to work that into your schedule and everything, it can be really distracting. We've said it before in this class that the most important part of your blog is going to be your content. People do not come to your blog to buy something. They don't come to your blog to be recommended to buy, something that they need to buy or they need to pay for. They're going to come to your blog because they see that you have some really good posts, some good information that they want to have. So if you're monetizing from the start, that's one more thing that you have to think about as you're just getting started with writing posts and doing social media and getting into your groove with blogging. You'll also be needing to be thinking about products that you're going to recommend and all that kind of thing. So it can seem like a lot and very overwhelming if you do start monetizing from the start. Another con to monetizing from the start is depending on the ad networks that you sign up with. Some of them will want your blog to be a certain age, or they might want you to have a certain number of visitors to your blog. They'll have different criteria depending on the network that you sign up with about whether or not they'll actually accept your blog into their network. And so your odds of being accepted into a network are going to be greater if your blog is more established before you actually apply. That being said, in case I forget to mention this later, if you do start monetizing from the start and you apply to a network and you don't get accepted, I would wait 6 months to a year and then try applying again. And the second time you might be able to get accepted and start using them as affiliates. Now let's look at the other side to this question. If you decide to wait to monetize your blog until it's a little bit more established, what are the pros and cons to doing that? Some of the pros are obviously, like we just talked about, you'll be more established in the blogging world, so you might be more able to get into the affiliate networks. Another thing is you'll be in your own groove with blogging. You'll know what blogging is like. You'll know what to expect when you sit down to write a post or what interaction is going to look like. You'll be more comfortable with blogging. So adding monetization to the plate will not seem so overwhelming. Another pro is that as you interact with your readers and build your blog and make connections on social media and everything, you're going to be able to know more and more about what your readers really need. I found in my own blogging that sometimes I think I know what they're going to need and what they want, but it actually might be something completely different. And so actually interacting with your readers and building that trust relationship, they can get to know you and know that you're actually there to help them. Then they'll be more likely to, you'll be able to recommend the products that they actually need, and they'll be more likely to listen to your recommendations because they know that you really do want to help them and you're not just trying to make money for yourself. Some of the cons to waiting to monetize is what I talked about earlier, as far as the transition from going from no ads and no promotions and no selling at all to now you're going to start recommending products and suggesting that readers buy things. That might turn some of your readers off. Now obviously you can make that transition in such a way that it's pretty smooth and you don't scare people away with your advertising. If you come on really strong, then more than likely you are going to lose some readers and some subscribers. And when I say, we'll talk a little bit here in a bit about how to actually go about adding monetization to your content. One way, if you haven't been monetizing and now you want to start monetizing, one easy way to do that is in your content. To go ahead, if you're talking about a certain subject and you know a product or a service that would help your readers with that subject, to go ahead and just in that post, in the content, just as natural as can be, say, I've used this such and such and it's worked really well and helped me with this, so you might want to check it out for yourself. And that right there, it's not this big glaring ad, there's not flashing ads all over the place, and it's not a hardcore sales pitch, it's just a suggestion. And so you can go from there, just start doing that and then maybe put an ad in your sidebar. Just do it really slowly and gradually so you don't scare away those readers and so they don't get the impression that now all of a sudden you want to make money off of them. Another con to waiting to monetize is, like I mentioned earlier too, as early as you have visitors coming to your blog, you do have the potential to be making that income. Granted, in the beginning that's not going to be a lot of income. I have found in my blogging that people will tend to buy more from a blog that they trust. And so obviously, if you're brand new into the blogging world, it's really hard to just come right out and the first impression that your readers get is that they can trust you to recommend good products. So it's building that relationship over the course of time that really starts bringing in that income. Your blog cannot be all about making money. It really needs to be first about helping people, and then from that the income will come in. So these are just some thoughts to keep in mind, some questions to ask yourself and feel what it might be better for your own blog and your personality and what would be a good fit for what you want to do. One big question to ask yourself is, if you already feel overwhelmed by just getting started with the blogging thing, just set the monetization thing aside and get used to blogging and enjoy writing and get into your groove and find out what style you like to write with and how long it takes you to make a post, and then start building those connections with your readers and just focus on doing that first and then bring in the monetization side of things later. If you're really comfortable with blogging and you're like, okay, I'm ready to do this monetization thing, then great, that's really good. We'll be talking more about how to do that here in just a couple minutes. I do want to stress again, and I mean, you probably hear this from me so many times in this class, but whatever you do with your monetization, always keep your readers first, always keep your content first. That is the most important part of your blog. If you focus too much on the monetization thing, and so it lets your blog quality slide, your post content slides, it's not as good as it used to be, then ultimately you're doing your blog harm instead of good. And so whatever tactics you use to monetize your blog, the reader always comes first, and keep your content strong, and I found from that the money will come in just naturally. Another thing I wanted to touch on tonight is the amount of advertising you want to do on your blog. I don't know about you, but I have visited some blogs where I get on that blog, page 1, and right away it just feels like all they want to do is take my money. There's ads in the sidebars, there's ads in the footer, there's ads in the header. The content is just selling. I don't know, maybe if you've come across one of those blogs, I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. But right away for myself, I'm gone. I'm not going to stay on that page. I'm not going to trust that they are there to actually make a recommendation to me that I can actually use. It just feels like they just want to take my money. So we're going to talk about a lot of different ways to monetize your blog tonight, and I'm going to suggest that you don't try to do all of them, just because it could totally overwhelm your readers. But I'm going to give you all these ideas just so you can think through and maybe pick one or two ways that you can monetize your blog and try it and see how it works. That's one great thing about blogging. You know, it's okay to try something, say, I think this might work for my blog, and give it a try. And if you are wrong and it doesn't work, it's okay to just change to something else. But as you're doing this, just keep in mind that, like I said, content has to be first. You want your reader to come to your blog and see that you are helping them, and through that, you're making a recommendation they can actually use, so when they purchase it, they will be happy. So we've established some questions for you to be asking about your blog and for you to find the answers for your blog. That's one thing here with the blogging and the monetization thing. There's not a one size fits all. It's good to look around at other blogs that are similar to yours in size and maybe your topic and see what they're doing that seems to be working. You obviously don't want to copy exactly what they're doing, but it's good to gather that information and take a look at what's working for your niche, what's resonating with readers in your niche, and then take that and apply that to your own blog. But ultimately, this information tonight is going to be something that you'll have to work through and maybe try some things and see what works for your blog. So we've talked about when to start monetizing. Are you going to start monetizing now, or are you going to wait? We've talked about how much advertising, how much are you going to share with your readers, how much are you going to promote to your readers. And thinking through the answers to your questions will give you a good solid foundation for what we're going to talk about next. We're going to talk about some monetization tactics so you can decide which ones you're going to use. And then I also have some things that it's not exactly monetizing on your blog, but there are also some really good ways to make money through your blogging. These are some of the basic ways that you can monetize your blog. You can start making an income from your blog. We're talking about sponsored posts. These are different kinds of advertising that you can offer to companies and other bloggers on your blog to help them get out the word about their products and their services. So like with sponsored posts, those would be something that a blogger or a business would pay for you to either review their product or just to write a post about their product and share that with your readers. And then you would have a set fee that you would charge for them to be able to do that. Another option for advertising and making money through your blog is affiliate marketing. And this is one of the most popular ways that bloggers make money these days. Just to give you a quick idea of what affiliate marketing is you would sign up with an affiliate network, and there are some links to those in your manual that came with the class. And you would choose a company or a product that you would like to recommend to your readers. And when you apply to that company, that program, they will send you a special link, and it will have a special code in it that will track your referrals. So anytime that somebody is on your blog, clicks on your referral link, and is taken to the site of the business, makes a purchase, or signs up for a subscription or whatever is stipulated in your agreement with the company, you will earn a commission on that. And that's set, you'll know all this up front. You'll know exactly, it might be a commission percentage, it might be a set fee. You'll know all of that up front. But when that reader goes through and purchases through your link at that site, you will earn your money that way. So to give a quick example, at blogalina.com we actually have an affiliate program ourselves. And when somebody refers somebody to have, another blogger to have their blog transferred by us, they earn a 35% commission on that sale. So it's just a good way for them to be able to say, hey, if you want to move your blog to WordPress, let's use Blogalina to do it. And by referring them through their special link, you as the blogger would earn the commission. Another way that you can make money on your blog is through Google AdSense. There's a lot of blogs that are using this. That's a lot of the ads in the sidebars that when you do a search, they'll come up with different images and different results based on what Google knows you're looking at when you're searching. And the way that AdSense pays is when somebody clicks on a link from your site. You'll apply to AdSense with Google. They'll give you a code to place an ad in your sidebar, and when one of your readers clicks on that ad, you will earn a certain rate for each click that ad gets. So one thing I've found personally with AdSense in my own blogging, and I don't really use them anymore because of this, is that you really have to have a blog that gets a lot of traffic to make much money off of AdSense. Just because when somebody clicks on a link, you get, pennies, maybe 25 cents. It's not usually a lot of money at a time, so you really need to have a lot of people clicking on those ads to really make it worth it. Another option for making money through your blog is by having paid advertising. So this is where you would either reach out to businesses or other blogs, or they would reach out to you and ask, can I pay you so much for the next 30 days to have my ad in your sidebar? This is kind of related to the sponsored posts thing. This is an advertising option that you can offer to businesses to either have a sponsored post where you write about their blog in a post, or they can pay for a certain amount of time to have their ad in your sidebar or in your footer or in your header. Along with that too, if you have an email list, and I highly recommend, this is one of the most important things you can do for your blog from the beginning, is to start building that email list. And we'll talk more about this next week, about how to actually set that up. But another advertising option that you can offer to brands and to other bloggers is email blasts. So if they want to share some information with your email list and you feel like it's a good fit, then you would write up the email and you would send it out to your subscriber list to let them know about maybe a sale that the business is doing or something along those lines. So we talked in the last slide about some different advertising options and how you can use affiliate ads, or you can have paid advertising, and you can put ads in your sidebars or in your header, in your footer, or in your content. And I just want to make a couple comments on how to use those different areas of your blog. First of all, I want to talk about above the fold. And what above the fold refers to is when somebody lands on your blog, it's what they see right away. They don't have to scroll down or anything. This is what they see. So this part of your blog is really important because this is where your reader gets the first impression of your blog. And they say it's the first 3 seconds on a site that a reader will decide if they're going to stick around and keep reading or if they're going to click somewhere else. So before you put ads in this part of your blog, you really want to think hard about what impression you're going to want to give to your readers when they do come to your blog. You also want to think, if you are going to want to offer advertising above the fold on your blog, that's going to be the premium advertising. So when you think about the rates that you're going to want to charge for your advertising, above the fold placement is going to be one of your most expensive options. Other places that you could put your ads are in your sidebars or in your footer, and obviously those parts of the page won't get as much exposure as the top of the page would. I read something that says that visitors to a website will read the site basically the same way that they read a book. So the most viewed part of your blog is going to be the upper left-hand corner, and then then they'll read across to the right-hand corner and then down from there. So the least read part of your blog is going to be the lower right-hand corner. So that's just something to keep in mind as you think about what's going to go where on your site. That's why most people have their blog name or their blog logo on the top left-hand corner, because that's what people are going to see first, and you want them to remember that. Another place, and this is actually the place that I've found the most successful way to monetize my content, is to actually put your advertisements and your recommendations in your content. This is the most natural way to make recommendations to your readers. Like we talked about earlier, if you're transitioning to monetizing your content, then recommending products with your affiliate links inside your posts themselves is a really good way to actually be helping your readers, because you're making a good recommendation, but it's not an advertisement that they're looking at. I found that this really helps because, number one, if somebody is reading your post, they're reading that post because they need to know about that topic. So when you recommend a product or something that actually helps them with that topic, they're going to be a lot more open to considering it because they're actually needing help with that thing. Another thing I found too is, when I read blogs, I tend to tune out the sidebars and the footers and the headers, other than the logo, because we see ads everywhere. So we've just kind of learned to tune them out. So if you have, be selective about what you put in your sidebars and your footer, just because that'll help it stand out a little bit more. But keep in mind that those areas are just really tend to be tuned out by readers and visitors to your site. So now that you have a good idea of where you'd want to place your content on your page, I really want to have us consider what we're going to be advertising. What is going to be in our ad content, because this is so important to building a successful blog. You can make or break your blog and your reputation based on what you're recommending to your readers. So some questions to ask as you're thinking about, what am I going to recommend to my readers? What am I going to advertise? Somebody just emailed me and they wanted me to promote their business on my blog. What should I do? And one of the most important questions that you can ask is this product or service something that my readers are really going to want or really going to need? Put yourself in their shoes and think, if I was one of my readers and this blog sent out an advertisement about this particular service or product, would I think, what in the world? I mean, I'm not interested in this at all. Would it be something that turns them off? To give you an example, I've had companies email Blogalina, which is a blog about blogging, and they want me to promote things like kitchen utensils, or they want me to promote women's clothing, things like that are obviously not a fit. This is not why readers are at my blog right now. This is not why they follow my blog. This is not the content that they want. And so for me to promote those things to my readers would be very confusing. So just think through that. Think, is this why my readers are here to hear about these products and these services? Another question to ask yourself is, can I recommend this business or this product or this service with confidence? And obviously the best way to be confident about your recommendations is to actually have used the product or the service or worked with the company yourself, and because then as a customer what they're like to work with, and you can truly recommend to your readers whether or not they're a good choice to make. So if you can't use all of the products or services that you recommend on your blog, do as much research as you can to make sure that it is a good recommendation that you're offering to your readers. Work for your readers. You are on their side. You're standing up for them. You just want to only be giving them the good information that they can actually use. So, and the final thing I want to say here too, and it kind of goes along with the whole, always make sure that your content is your #1 priority and then your monetization side of things. Never sacrifice your readers' trust for a few dollars. Always do what you can to make sure that you are recommending products and services to your readers that are good, that are trustworthy. I know that I followed some blogs for years, and I would, if she recommended that I read something or I do something or I use a product, I would do it just because she recommended it, and because I know after having followed her that she will only make recommendations that she can stand behind. And you can't say that about all bloggers. So it's really important to be watching out for your readers and building that trust relationship, and then they'll be more than happy, to listen to what you have to recommend, rather than wondering if you're always, just thinking, I don't know if I can trust this, and so not clicking on your ads or not using your affiliate links. Something I get asked a lot in this class and just through email and through the blog is, how do I know how much to charge? Somebody wants to advertise on my blog. How do I know how much to charge them? And that is a good question. And it can be a little bit hard to answer. And to give you an idea of what you could be charging on your blog, I would recommend, again, taking a look around at the blogs that are similar to yours in their topic and also in their size, and see what they might be charging for advertisers. And when you do that, make sure that they do actually have a couple of advertisers on their site, because I've done this in the past and found some blogs that are charging a certain rate that I thought, wow, that's really high, but maybe it works for them because they are charging it, and then I'll look and they have absolutely no advertisers on their site. And there's two sides to this, obviously, too, because if you don't want a lot of ads on your site and you're okay with there not being any advertisers on your site, having a higher fee is a good way to weed out the people who might not really want to advertise on your blog. You know, if they're willing to pay more money, that means they really do want to work with you and reach out to your readers. So you can also keep that side of things in mind too. That being said, you know, I would start with a low fee, and once you have a few advertisers and it's working really well, and you have built up some relationships with some advertisers and might be able to point to some companies that you have worked with, then you can go ahead and raise the fee with working with future people. One other suggestion I would have too, especially if you're just getting started with blogging, is to even put ads. And, you know, pick a couple of companies that you really respect and really want to recommend to your readers, and put their ads in your sidebar and talk about them and give them some referrals, and then reach out to them and say, hey, this seems to be working really well on my blog and really connecting my readers. Would you like to keep your advertisement here for the next 6 months at this rate, and see what they say. It doesn't hurt to ask, and they might really appreciate the effort that you've already put into promoting their products. So that being said, you know, I've seen advertising rates as low as, you know, $25 for a sidebar ad for a month. So if you want to start somewhere, that's a great place to start. I did also want to recommend this site, which I have found really helpful when trying to decide how much to actually charge for advertising. It takes a little bit of time, but if you go there and you create an account for your blog and set it all up, what they do is they give you a code to put in your sidebar, and they track how much traffic you get and all that sort of thing, so that by a daily rate it'll give you a good average and a good estimate of what you could be charging for your blog. So I would go to projectwonderful.com and give them a try, and then just take their daily rate and multiply it by 30 to give you a good idea of what would be reasonable for your blog's size and your blog's traffic, your unique visitors, and that kind of thing, what you could charge to other businesses who might want to advertise on your blog. It's just a good little tool to give you a good idea, just because it is so hard to know where exactly to start, because you obviously don't want to be charging too little and losing out on the money you could be making, but if you charge too much, you can also be losing out on advertising opportunities that way too. One thing I want to say here too, as you're thinking through what you're going to charge for your advertising rates and your options that you're going to offer on your blog, is to take some time to put together a media kit. So tonight, you know, we're talking about the options that you can offer, and we're talking about how to find out maybe what you should charge for your advertising services. And once you have all that information compiled, putting it into an easy to read document that you can share with people who come to your blog and want to advertise with you is a great way to make it really easy for people to be able to advertise with you. And as I've said in the past, you know, if you really want people to be able to do something, you have to make it really easy for them to do this. So, I mean, you can put together something as simple as a Word document that outlines, you know, what you have to offer. You can outline your blog stats, as in this point number 2 here. You know, track your unique visitors, how many page views you get, how many followers you have on the different social media platforms. If you're just getting started and you don't have a lot of those stats, even saying that you'll go above and beyond the other blogs, you know, helping your blog to stand out. Maybe showing in your media kit what connection you have with your readers that you could offer to these companies. Maybe you have a newsletter. And you'll say that you'll also include a blast out to your newsletter. You'll say that you could host a Twitter party with your readers to promote the product. Something that you'll do above and beyond the other blogs that might have a larger following, but you want to show that you really have the connection and you're going to put forth the effort to promote their product, even though your blog is a smaller size. So the other thing is, you know, in your media kit, this is a good place for you to introduce your blog and share about your readers. You can share about your topic. So this is what companies can come to this media kit and say and see if your blog would be a good fit for what they want to offer. You know, tell them what you talk about. Tell them the content that your readers really seem to like and enjoy. Maybe if you have done paid advertising in the past, or maybe if you've done a giveaway, or if you've done a review, or if you've done a sponsored post in the past, link to those so that they have an example of what you've done in the past. This is a really good place for you to pitch to businesses what you can do with your blog and how you can help them. And if you're looking for some examples of media kits, I mean, even if you go to Google and type in media kit examples or my media kit, you should get some good examples of how those can look. And some of them can be really fancy, just so you know. You don't have to have a really fancy one. The information is really what your advertisers are going to want to know. So the options that we've talked about so far for monetizing your blog are pretty standard options. I mean, these are, you go to a lot of blogs out there, and these are things that they're going to offer on their blogs. It's going to be the advertising that your readers see. It's going to be the advertising they get in their emails from you. It's going to be advertising that's in your blog posts. But I also wanted to share a few different ways that you can actually make money because of blogging that maybe don't necessarily happen directly on your blog. One of the ways that you can make money with your blog and get paid to blog is by using one of these 3 sites that I have listed here, the blogvertise.com, paperpost.com, or the booklookbloggers.com. And what those sites allow you to do is you actually will submit your posts to them. You will draft up a post and you will submit it to them, and then they will match it with a blog that would pay to use it. So they'll essentially buy your post. Or you will be able to put your profile on there and give some writing samples and some topics that you're good at writing about and you're really passionate about and you can provide good content on, and then they will match you with brands and larger bloggers that would like to have posts on those content. So essentially it's kind of like being a freelance writer, except for you're writing blog posts and offering them to other blogs. The booklookbloggers.com is specifically about books. And actually, I don't believe that they pay you monetarily. They don't give you any money to post. But what they do is you apply and they'll send you a book to review. So you get to keep the book that you review. If you're a reader, this is a great way to get free books. And then you just write about the book on your blog and share your thoughts on it after you've read it. These last 2 ideas here I'm just going to touch on really briefly because we're actually going to talk a lot more about them next week. But I have found one of the most successful ways to make money through a blog is by creating a product or a service to sell. So creating a product like an ebook or tutorial bundle, something like that readers would actually purchase from you to get that content. And this is where it's good to have been blogging for a while and connected with your readers to see what they really want, so that you can put the time in and create a product that they really need to have. The good thing about creating a product to sell is, when you use affiliate links to refer other people's products, you make a small commission on those. Whereas if you are the one that created the product and you're selling it, your return on each product sold is going to be much greater than just a small commission fee. Also, as far as offering a service, the blogs are a great place to connect with people because they see that you're a real person, they see that you know what you're talking about, and so you can offer a service. If you're really good at a certain element of your topic on your blog, you can offer coaching or consulting on that topic. You can offer organization tips or ideas for how to make something run more smoothly depending on your topic. This is all very general just because everybody is blogging about something different. Another option is to offer a membership site where you only offer this special premium content to people who sign up to pay for it. So these are just some ideas to get your thoughts rolling and to hopefully help you see that your blog doesn't have to just be about the ads. There are other ways to make money through your blog too. Thank you again for making the time to be here tonight. I hope this lesson has helped to answer some of your questions about making money with your blog. We're going to go ahead and open up things now for your questions, so we can go ahead and type those in the chat box and I'll get you as many answers as I can in the time we have left.